Today I'm joined by Esa Jokioinen. He's a Deputy CEO and Director of Sales and Marketing at Deltamarin, a company with over 30 years of experience in ship design and strong reputation for turning complex challenges into innovative solutions. Based in Turku, a major Finnish maritime hub and truly lovely place to visit as well, Deltamarin has been in the spotlight for its groundbreaking ammonia-fueled container vessels concept and as well as a major contracts for next-generation sustainable ships. They've successfully shifted from a pre-COVID portfolio dominated by conventional fuels to a majority of alternative fuel projects, a transformation that reflects the broader direction of the maritime industry. Esa, hyvää huomenta, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you, Joachim.
Let me ask, so pre-COVID, 90% of your projects were conventional fuel designs. Now the majority are alternative fuels. What drove this dramatic transformation, and what does it tell us about the industry's direction?
Well, of course, there's been a number of things happening over the past 5 years, but I think probably the biggest reason is that regulations have been developing quite fast, both in EU as well as in IMO. So over the past years, FuelEU Maritime ETS have become a lot more clear in EU, and IMO also has their new initiatives such as the GFI and so forth. So I think this has speeded up a lot of things on ship design front as well.
And your new ammonia fuel 3,500 TEU container vessel concept, that represents a significant milestone. What are the unique design challenges of ammonia fuel as a marine fuel?
Well, as for, I would say, all of the alternative fuels, they occupy more space on board. So that's kind of one fundamental challenge, if you may say so. How can we come up with enough endurance with these alternative fuels? And then the other feature, which is, well, particularly for ammonia, as it is toxic and dangerous fuel, in that sense, so we need to make sure there is the necessary precautions made for safety. This as such is just basically not, I wouldn't call it as a major challenge, it's just work that has to be done. So we need to adhere to IMO guidelines and regulations, IGF code, for example, related to ammonia, and then eventually this will lead us to alternative design arrangement that involves risk-based assessment to mitigate the hazard. So all in all, it's work, although I feel that with alternative fuels, you really need to rethink, especially this endurance thing, that how do you arrange enough endurance for the alternative fuel, or do you adapt the vessel to bigger tanks?
And with 30 plus years in ship design, how is Deltamarin applying traditional naval architecture principles to these revolutionary new fuel systems?
Well, I'd say that our strength in Deltamarin is that we mainly develop prototype designs, and we always approach every project as a single, I would say, bespoke design. So we are not trying to fit new systems, new fuels into existing hulls and existing designs. We are designing the vessel for the fuel and for the operation. So this is kind of our way of working. What I would say is that it's different from before is that we need to run much more and much more complicated analysis on the vessel, and that comes related to the hydrodynamics of the hull form, but also even more so different scenarios for the ship's lifetime. How will it be adapting potentially to new fuels and when and so forth? So that's, I would think, the biggest thing that has changed in ship conceptual design recently is that we have to run much more analysis, and of course it's the same time as usual. So certain months, not years, but certain months we are spending on this development.
The Wallenius Wilhelmsen Shaper class and Grimaldi lines projects, they represent a major commercial application. So how do you balance there the innovation with the proven reliability?
Well, what would I say? The ship owners are there in the end to, as a gatekeepers, to make sure that nothing unreliable gets on board. But of course, innovation for us, it doesn't mean that we would need to have some new gadgets embedded into the designs all the time. So for us, it means adding customer value that serves the needs of the client. Sometimes we can deliver that through new technologies, and sometimes it's by means of more traditional, I would say, naval architecture design optimization. But in these cases, it's kind of combination of both. And I think one important foundation for innovation is our heritage, the number of vessels we have designed and that have been built afterwards. So we have quite a good database and quite good tools to evaluate what actually will be the outcome in the end.
What does future-proof ship design mean in an area of rapidly evolving fuel technologies and regulations?
That's a really good question. I would put it in a way that it's a ship that has the capability to adapt to different kinds of energy sources and has pre-planned path of compliance for the upcoming and known regulations. Of course, we cannot exactly know how this will all turn out in the end. How do we make sure we do this the best we can is that during the design process, we analyze different ways to optimize for the future compliance. We are taking into account different fuels, their costs, their availabilities, and how they impact the vessel design itself. So this basically gives us a matrix of whole range of different, I would say, topologies for the vessel, how it can be done, and then we are choosing from those. We from Deltamarin, we are more analyzing and proposing, and it's always customer in the end that makes the call that whether he wants to go for certain fuel or certain technology or certain direction in the development.
And as an established design house, what advice do you have for the industry on navigating this transition to sustainable shipping?
Well, I think it's quite obvious for everyone, but I say it still. So ships have a lifespan of 20 to 30 years minimum. And world is changing very, very rapidly at the moment, what especially comes to these environmental regulations. So it's good to spend some effort in thinking of these matters further in the future than maybe before. That being said, there is no one fit all solution in the market that I would be able to say that ammonia is perfect for everybody, methanol is perfect for everybody, and so forth. So this is actually coming back to this simulation and really the thinking that we can do together with the ship owner, because we can tell what these different things mean from the ship point of view. What can we fit in? What will it cost? When and how we can possibly convert or upgrade to alternative fuels and so forth. So this is a very important part of the whole process to have this background work done properly.
Esa, thank you for sharing these insights. It's been fascinating to hear how Deltamarin is combining decades of experience and expertise with cutting-edge innovation to help shape the future of sustainable shipping. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Joachim.